This is week 16. We are ending on a high note. I'm really sad to be doing this video. So this is our wrap up. And this is Let's Talk Turkey with Jayne Turk. And we're going to talk about what it is you need to do to wrap up this semester. So you need to take, you need to take the final Quizzy Poo. So you're going to log on and that's going to be live. It's already live. You want to log on and take that. It is 11 questions long, so it's not a big, huge thing. It is a couple of true-false questions, a couple of multiple-choice questions, and some matching questions, and some select from this list questions. Yes, it is open book, so you're not cheating or doing anything you shouldn't be doing if you have your book open. You can Google stuff, but I would not recommend it because Google does not know our specific terminology, and you're likely to have more harm than good. Send me a text message, and we can figure it out. I would say most people only take, I think the longest I've seen someone take on it's 34 minutes, and I would say it's probably 20 minutes is pretty average. So you have give yourself the full 2 hours in case you want it, but don't expect to spend that much time on it. This is super important. Canvas auto grades it. And let's say of the 10 you selected, 5 were correct and 5 were incorrect. Canvas says that means you get 0 points. And my intent is that you get half the points. And so Canvas will give you an incorrect grade on 2 or 3 different questions in there. So if you're nervous and you want to know what it is, send me a text message, shoot me an email. I'll go in there and regrade it. I'll be regrading them all anyway, but if you want me to do it on your schedule, just let me know when you've finished, and I'm happy to go in there and grade it correctly for you. So feel free to email me, feel free to text me. However, the points that you earn on your final do not count towards your final grade. So your final grade is based on how many points you've earned, but these points don't count towards that. What they do determine, however, is which column you're in. So the first column is the column that if you got 50 points or above on the final, and that is the column that allows you to get the highest possible grade. If you got less than 50 points, 49 or below, then you're in column and how that works. And if you want to look at it, you can see, oops, you can see really quickly what those columns look like, and you can see this on your grade check sheet. I'll move my face out of the way. And so you could find this online, but you can just see how the points figure out in that. Okay, so let's talk about the pre-grading things and what you're going to turn in. So you're going to pre-grade your simulation journal, your chapter notes, your portfolio, and then you're going to get all that information on your grade check sheet. So let's talk about what those look like. So in the simulation journal, you're going to go in and you're going to say, do I have all of the items in here? And are all of the pieces filled out? So does every one of them have a date? The date's worth 1 point. So you can go back and put those in if you haven't got them in already. The next thing you're doing is you're answering the question, was a technique effective? Why or why not? So was a technique effective is your second point. Your third point is why or why not. Did you answer both of those questions? And then you have next time reminders. That's really important that you filled those out. What is it that you specifically need to remember the next time you're using the skill? And then the fifth point, and every one of them is worth 5 points, is this skill integrated? So is this skill something that you feel like you can do? I am not grading you on whether or not your answer is a yes. I'm grading you on whether or not you answered all of the questions. So be sure and answer all of the questions. So 5 questions times the number of items on there And I want to say that there are 15. And there are 2 of them that you were asked to do outside of the class structure. So you were supposed to do an perception check that you went and did in your real life, and then any of the other skills that you wanted to do in your real life to go and do those. And if you haven't done them yet, go do them today. Go practice your new communication skills on a friend or a family member. And so I want you to have looked at this and to say, okay, so got it all done. It's worth 75 points. Boom, you put that in there. If you're missing stuff, you can fix it. But if you don't fix it, if you choose not to, then accurately guess what it's going to be graded. Yes, I'm going to be grading them too, but I want you to have an idea of what you're getting first. So that's the simulation journal. Up next, we have the chapter notes. And so it's kind of a similar thing. You're being asked, do I have a topic? Did I define or use in a sentence? Did I explain it? Did I show significance? And then most importantly, did I show the details? And then if you were using a book that gave you the ability to see chapter, all of the packet handouts for the entire class. So your copy, I want to see that you downloaded a copy. Preferably you downloaded it and then printed it. But I want to see for a fact that you downloaded your own copy and you added your 3 or 4 extra items. So these would be my extra items. And you can see I have a meme in there. I have 2 quotes, and you can identify quotes because they're attributed to people. And you should probably go look them up and make sure those people actually said them. And I have a cartoon, all that relate to interpersonal communication and are not relating to the skill that you taught us earlier. So this is your extra page. Your portfolio, to recap, is your extra page and all of the handouts for the rest of the class. So then you want to go into, and this is the version that's on the paper copy. There's also a version online that I have linked in Canvas, so you can go there and fill it out. And you want to fill out a couple of things here. So I want you to start by looking at where it says essay 1 topic. Assuming you did both essays, put in what they were on. So was it bathtub project? Was it win-win? Put those in case there's any question. That way I can find them. And then put the score that you got on those papers. And this is a great chance. Some of you did not read my comments. And so if you didn't, and I wrote you something and I said, hey, dude, fix this. This is your chance to fix it. Put both your essays in and then your portfolio score, the score that you got for your presentation and handout. And as I said a whole bunch of times, if you didn't do the presentation, no matter how many points you get in any other area, you're not going to pass the class. So if that's you, I am so sorry that happened this semester. Please take the class over next semester and talk to me early on so we can get you started and we can make sure that you get that presentation done. No shame. We'll make sure that we get it done though. For your simulation journal, like I said, maximum of 75 points, 5 points for each entry. Count those up, total them, put in there what you think you got. The midterm, you should have a score for that. The chapter notes, 60 points total, so they're 2.5 points per chapter note or 5 points per chapter. So go ahead and do the math on that as well. And what I call participation on this sheet, I think in your actual packet, it is your discussion board posts because that's how you participate in an online class. And so you should be able to do the math on those. You got graded on those. Your commitment essay, and then extra credit that you may have earned over the course of the semester. And we did have one thing that we did specifically for extra credit that a number of you did. So make sure. Then when you get back to that, then we have the area here where you're going to total up your scores, and then you're going to say, what column am I in based on this final exam score? And that's the corrected score. That's the score that I gave you after I hand corrected it. And so, if I got 900 to 1,000 points, no, those points don't include the points you got on your final. You're in this category. If you got over 50 or over. And if you got lower than 50, you're in this category. So you can still get a B in the class even if you didn't get a great grade on the final. And then I ask you to, on the chapter, in the grade check sheet that you have, I'm asking you if you will sign it, type in your name. But also make sure that you give me your contact information in case I have a question. And so the best way to get a hold of you, I know a number of you did not answer to emails this semester. So if you've got a cell phone number, go ahead and plug that in there too in case I have a question. And so based on that information, I expect to earn a grade of whatever. So go ahead and put that in. Okay. So you're going to turn in your simulation journal, and the way that you do that is, and it's been a thing that several of you have done already. It's been available to turn in all semester long. Just make sure that you have shared the link with me, because since we're using a Google Doc, for most of you anyway, if you haven't shared it with me, I'll get the link, but I won't be able to open it. So I need to make sure that you've got that link shared with me before you do that. And the same thing with your chapter notes. Now, if you've done these on paper, that's great. You can take pictures of those papers and upload them to the same place in Canvas. Your portfolio should already be turned in, but if it's not, there's a place to do that as well. And then the grade check sheet you're going to see in this same area that you can, once you filled it out, that you can submit it. And you're doing happiness contract. So the happiness contract states that I deserve to be happy. Therefore, I routinely promise to practice the following skills. And the skills are going to be things that you choose. What are some things that you've learned this semester that you want to make sure you're doing on a regular basis? Put those in there. And then furthermore, I will pay attention to these things. So they might be some skills that we've covered over the course of the semester that maybe you're not going to focus on, but you're going to make sure you don't forget. So those go in that list there. And then I am valuable. I matter. You sign it. You witness someone else's. It gets other people to witness yours. And you're going to have that submitted. And this then becomes a very serious, legally binding contract that allows me, in fact, to sue you if you fail to live up to the terms of this contract. And I hope that made at least a couple of you. 2 essays, 2 papers. So you had 4 options. You needed to do 2 of them. So we did the options for pillow talk, for the bathtub paper, for the behavior change, and for win-win. Did you hopefully print your portfolio, but very least promise to keep it? Did you do those things? So you want to check and make sure. And you have an option to do my Forget-Me-Not journal if you choose. So this is linked in there. Many students want to write me a note. Some to tell me that what they liked about the class or what they wished I'd change. Some to tell me that I suck. I don't read these until after I do grades, so either one is fine by me, but if you want to write me something, please feel free to do that. And I want to encourage you, especially if you've liked these videos, to take podcasting classes with me on Zoom. I'm offering one class on Tuesday nights from 6 to 8:50. That's comms 2200. And then on Mondays and Wednesdays from 10:35 to noon, I'm offering comms 2100. You can take either class or both at the same time. And you guys have stuff to say. I loved reading your papers and your discussion board posts. And whether you want to do it for fun, whether you want to, film, live stream your sports team, whether you want to start your own vlog or video journal, whatever purpose you have, I would love to support you in that journey. These classes are super fun and super low key. And yet you get to be as successful in them as you want to be. One of my students was able to make it into the top 1% 2 weeks ago. So it's doable, and I want to help you on that journey, even if it's just to have fun. And like I said, super low key and super fun. So I hope you'll consider joining me on that. And for the last time this semester, and I'm not going to cry, in case no one said it today, I love you. I have really enjoyed this semester, really enjoy getting to work with you, and I'm so appreciative that you took this journey with me. This is the last one of this class. It's Let's Talk Turkey with Jayne Turk. And if you've completed this class and still want to hear more, I am working on getting my Let's Talk Turkey podcast to be live soon. I already have some of the class videos in there, but I'm going to be doing videos specifically for the podcast. And you can find me on YouTube at Jayne Turk. So I hope that I'll see you there. This has been a really great semester.